About personal pronouns, boys and girls. Now, up until this point, we have already talked about a particular set of pronouns. And boys and girls, what are the pronouns that we have talked about previously? Demonstrative pronouns. Now, boys and girls, why do we call them demonstrative pronouns? Because they are going to demonstrate something. That's why we translate them as this and these and that and those. Exactly right. But instead we are now, like I said, moving on to personal pronouns. Now, not only are we going to talk about personal pronouns, we are also going to talk about reflexive pronouns. The personal pronouns first. Now, the first question that you have to answer, or know, how many different kinds of personal pronouns are there, boys and girls? How many personal pronouns are there? 3.
Yes, he always right.
And so why do we come up with 3? Because there is the person, and there is the
second
person, and then there is the
third.
Now in every one of these, there are going to be 30 of them. Now when I look at the first person personal pronouns, it is only going to look like there are how many? 10 is correct. But that is because next to this number 1, I could write 3 letters. And boys and girls, what can I write as the 3 letters next to the number 1? MFN is exactly right, because this is our personal pronoun, the first one in the nominative. Let's all say it together, please, buddy. Ego. I like candy. What was the gender of the word I when I just said it?
Masculine.
Masculine. Do you have any thoughts on the issue, Constance? Fantastic. When Constance says I like candy, what was the gender of her I? And if I were to get a neuter thing to talk, it would obviously be the neuter. Now the same thing here, we have the second person. We have seen these words before, and let's all say it together, please, everybody. 2. You like candy, and you like candy, but it depends upon what I'm looking at. When I say you like candy, what would the gender be? Because I'm looking at Clemens, and when I were to say you like candy, Clarus, what would the gender be?
Masculine.
And so all 3 genders as well. Now, have we seen the word ego before? Yes, we introduced it in chapter 5. Have we seen the word 2 before? It's introduced in chapter 4. But not formally have we presented all of the forms as you see here now. Why is there only 1 column for the first person personal pronouns? Only 1 column for the second person personal pronouns, but yet for the third person personal pronouns there are 3 separate columns. Because we have 3 separate expressions, 3 separate pronouns for each of the genders. And this is what they are in Latin. Let's all say it together, everybody. Is, id. And in English that would correspond to he and she and it. And so unlike I, and I, unlike you, and you, what can you tell me about he, she, and it? There is a different word for every single gender. Now, let's all say it together, please, everybody. Is, id. Oh no, we're going to have to learn 30 more forms, are we not? No, we're not. And why are we not going to have to learn 30 more forms? Because we've already learned the 30 forms that we need of Ile, Ila, Lud, Ilias, Ilias. Why are you making me do this by myself? Ilias, 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 Ili, 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 Lum, Lam, Lud, Lo, La, Lo, Li, Li, Lo, Lo, La, Lo, Lisa, 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 Lo, Sa, Lo, Lisa, Lisa, Lisa. I hope you're watching. Are you watching? Are you learning? I hope so, nevertheless. Now, we should put the embedded items in, should we not, to reward for those who... All righty, so we'll figure it out in just a moment, nevertheless. So, is, id, Ila, Lud, Ilias, 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 and this is then what it is going to be. Let's all say, please, buddy, as, as, as. Oh boy. And then what do you think the dative is going to be? There it is, everybody. E. Oh, this is a real toughie. And what do you think the accusative is going to be? And just id. Is it not going to be the same? Yes. And that's your first item for the free 100. ID id. It. But ID. Okay. And then finally the last one, let's all say it together, please, buddy. Uh-oh. Now, do you think I could hand down, I'm not going to, but could I hand to any one of you this blue marker and you complete the rest of the chart?
Yeah.
Certainly you could, because all you have to do is look over at and so therefore we're following. Let's all say, please, buddy. E, A-I, A-A. And for the genitive, it's going to be Aorum, room, and of course what, everybody? A autumn, and then finally dative. Let's all say please, everybody. A-ease. Oh boy, and the accusative, everybody. Eos. And then here you have it, everybody. Eos. And then it is going to be everybody. Ea. And for the ablative again, it's going to be everybody. Eis. Now let's translate it into English, shall we? She, it, of him, of her, of it, to him, to her, to it, him, her, it, by, with, because of, from, in, on, at, him, her, it. Okay, seriously, this is not good. You are telling me that you do not know the plural of the word he? Okay, whoa, that was a tough one there. He sits at the desk, and he sits at the desk, and he sits at the desk together. They said, you really just balked on giving me the plural of he.
I got it.
Boys and girls, do you suck at Latin? No. What do you suck at? English. Oh my Lord. Well, here it is.
They.
It is not going to be them. Boys and girls, does them do anything?
No.
Them don't go to the store. Them don't buy milk. Them don't verb. They.
Of them.
Of them, to them, them, by, with, because of, from, in, on, at, them. Does anybody have any questions or problems so far? No. Now, let's go back to the, of course, first person. I like candy, constance.
I like candy.
And so together, boys and girls, who likes the candy? We like the candy. Have we seen the word nos before that means we?
Yes.
You've seen almost all these forms before, you just haven't formally been presented them. And then of course, you like candy and you like candy together. Y'all like candy as well. And so we can fill in the rest of them, of course, as well. So, let's go through all 30 forms, but are they going to look like they are 30 forms?
No.
No, they're going to look like how many forms, boys and girls?
Yeah.
That is it. Everybody, let's all say it, please. Ego, me, mihi, me. Okay, that was terrible. Let's try that again. Electrons are forever, everybody. Ego, me, mihi, me. Nos, nostrum. Nobis, nos, nobis. Nobis, nos, and then nobis again. And then over here, everybody. Tui, tibi-tay-tay. That is a fun one to say, is it not? Tay and then tay. And then finally over here, everybody. Wos, westrum. Wobis, wos, wobis. Wobis, and then woes, and then wobis again. So if we're going to translate all of them. I, of me, to me, by, with, because of, from, in, on, at, me, plural of I, we, of, us, to or for us, by, with, because of, from, in, on, at, fantastico. Boys and girls, what have I written on the board so far? Personal pronouns, that's exactly right. And boys and girls, why do we call them personal pronouns? Because they represent the persons. And who are the persons?
The subjects.
The first person, the person speaking, and the second person, the person being spoken to, and third person, the person being spoken about. Now, if I would not write these down, I will forget them. So let me go ahead and do that now. Nevertheless, let's move on. The other kind of pronoun that we obviously going to deal with today is that of a reflexive pronoun. In one concept, everybody repeat after me. Reflexive pronouns. Reflect back onto. And what do you think is the next word? The subject. Now, boys and girls, if a reflexive pronoun is going to reflect back onto the subject, there is going to be one case that the reflexive pronoun does not appear in. And what is that one case that the reflexive pronoun does not appear in?
Nominative.
It does not appear in the nominative. And why would it not appear in the nominative? Because if it is the subject, how can it be reflecting back in? It wouldn't work. And so what am I going to put right here? X or slash and X or slash. But for the rest of these, it is the exact same forms here as it is here. And so let's all say it, please, everybody. Sui, sibi, say.
Sui, sibi, say.
Let's speed that up, everybody. Sui, sibi, say. Now, we've seen these before. Particularly, we've seen this one right here and or that one right there, and thus indeed that's what we have. So let's all say it, please, everybody. Say.
Say.
That's your second word to put in for the free 100. S-E. Say, nevertheless. That could be translated himself, herself, itself, or themselves. What is going to determine which one it is?
Context.
Context is everything, but I need you to be more specific. What is going to determine which one?
Subject.
Correct. If it is a mot, then it would be he loves,
Himself.
she loves,
Herself.
it loves,
Itself.
and then if we make it plural, they love. That is exactly right. Does everybody understand and see how that works? Let's pick another one just for funs and giggles. And so therefore, if we were to choose another one, and let's choose this one, let's all say it together, please, buddy. Sibby. Give me all the possible translations. Okay, it's dative. Two or four. Or two or four. Or two or four. Or two or four. So let's talk about pathetic Marcus. Oh no, how sad. So, here we are. Marcus City. Flores dot. Now, we all know where dot comes from. Let's all say the principal parts, everybody. Do, dari, dedi, datus. And again, what is the only thing you're doing right now?
Listening.
That's it. Are you writing anything?
No.
Are you staring off into space?
No.
Are you looking at a phone screen?
No.
Not at all. We don't want it to be taped down or even taken up, do we? Now, boys and girls, translate my sentence. What does it say? Marcus gives flowers
To himself.
to himself, not to him, not to her, not to it, not to them, but he gives flowers to whom?
Himself.
So it indeed is that city that is right there. If it had been the pueri, it would then of course have to be dont, but what does it say now? The boys give flowers to themselves. Does everybody understand how it is reflexive? Boys and girls, what do reflexive pronouns do? They reflect back onto the... So let's talk about my color scheme.
Not red.
What have I written on blue, or in blue, on the board, boys and girls?
Personal pronoun.
Personal pronouns. Let's try that again. See, it's written right there. What have I written in blue, boys and girls?
Personal pronouns.
What have I written in red?
Reflexive pronouns.
Is it a mix of both?
Oh
no.
What have I written, boys and girls, in purple?
Personal
Both.
reflexive pronoun.
So we're to take any one of these up here on the board, and let's do take, oh, I suppose we will start off with, how about may? That sounds pretty good, does it not? Now, boys and girls, the word may, if I were to write it on the board, let me get this out of the way here, and there we go. This could be a personal pronoun. Boys and girls, translate it as a personal pronoun. Me. The subject verbs. Me. But it could also, in the right context, with the right subject, not be translated as me. How could you also translate may?
Because of
Myself. Now let's think about it in terms of this. May amas. Translate that. No, it does not say anything about I loving anybody. The subject here is given to me by the letter S. Translate my sentence, please. You love. No.
Me.
Yes, you love me. The personal pronoun me. Translate it now.
He loves me.
He loves me. Isn't that right? Translate it now. Y'all love me. Does everybody see how this is working? Let's do a different one. Translate it now. They love me. But if I put down the right subject... translate it now, boys and girls. I love myself. So how will I know when this means myself instead of me? The subject will be I. How will I know that this means what it means as the reflexive? Because as the personal pronoun, it means us. But what is the translation going to be as a reflexive pronouns?
Me. Myself.
Ourselves. Here, as a personal pronoun, it is going to mean you. But what's it going to mean as a reflexive? Yourself. So who's the only person who can verb yourself?
Yourself.
You. You verb yourself, everybody else verbs you. So, again, we just change this. Translate, what does it say? I love
Myself.
you. No. I love you.
Oh.
Right? Now what does it say? He loves you. Isn't this so nice? But what is the ending I'm about to put on it?
Yes.
So now what does it say, boys and girls?
You love yourself.
That's it. So how will I know whether it is focused as a personal pronoun or a reflexive pronoun? It is only a reflexive pronoun if the subject is the same person. I give flowers, but you give flowers. He gives flowers. You give flowers, but he gives flowers. We give flowers, but he gives flowers. You see the difference? And so, I can give you an anecdote. About 15 years ago, we had a whole different administration as to what we do now. And I remember that we were in a faculty meeting, and I noticed that of the English language, one of the things that people screw up the most is the reflexive. People all the time misuse the reflexive. Because, boys and girls, the only time in which ever you can say blank self is that it has to be the same person as the what? That's it. It has to be the same as the subject. And so the assistant principal got up and was blah, 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 instructions to all the teachers. And right at the end, and this is something that's very common that everybody does in the English language, because man, oh man, do we not have a good handle on the English language. The assistant principal says, and if you, and who is the subject there, boys and girls? You have any questions, you can either see the principal or myself. Boys and girls, can you see myself? No. Who is the only person that can see myself?
You.
I is the only person who can see myself. Does everybody understand? And so it is reflexive. Now, note, purple, 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 blue. And why is it blue and not purple? Because is there such a thing as a nominative reflexive?
No.
Not at all. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
Great. Let's go to the more complex concept.
Oh. Let's get ready for it.
Yes, you should be. Now, I'm going to put an asterisk by 4 words. And these are they. Let's all say them please by name. Me. Tui. Nostrum. Westrum. What do all 4 of those have in common? They are genitives. Now, let's see if we can go through the exercise. Now what is it?
Subjunctive.
There it is. Accusative. Oh boy. Genitive. But not for these. You would not say that that is the pencil of you. You would not say that that is the notebook of you. I would not say that this is the book of me. Instead, when we show possession, boys and girls, we will use what, not a pronoun, but what we call a possessive adjective. Now, boys and girls, how many possessive adjectives do you think there are?
3.
The answer is 6. Now, more important than the answer is, how did I get to that number? Why would you think that there'd be 6 possessive adjectives?
Oh,
Because there are 3 what? Persons, and there are 2 what? Numbers. So the first one would be the possessive adjective that we see here. So let's all say it together. Here's one. Meus, mea, meum. And what does meus, mea, meum mean? My is exactly right. And so, let's see here. How about we go with Felix? Do you have any other pencils there? Or is that the only one on you?
It's in my book bag.
Okay, why don't you get it out then? There it is. Now Felix has 2 pencils sitting there on our desk. Now, they are not those low-quality wooden garbage. They are mechanical pencils, boys and girls. Mechanical pencils are superior, are they not?
Yes.
Of course they are. And so what does Felix say? Felix says, meum, stilum, Amo. Boys and girls, what does Felix say? She says, I love my pencil. Do you see how that works? But could it be? What does it say now, boys and girls? No, it is not I anymore. The teacher loves my pencil. Could you not say that? And why could Felix say that the teacher loves my pencil? Did I not just heap praise upon her pencils? And why did I heap praise upon her pencils? Because they're mechanical. Although you get the right wooden pencil, it can be okay. Now, you can make it plural. And so we'll go back to what she is saying about her own pencils. There it is, our verb. Let's all say it, please, everybody. Amo. Because now she has on her desk not just one pencil, boys and girls. How many pencils does she have on her desk?
2.
Aha. Let's all say it in Latin, please, everybody. Me o stilos. Amo. Translated, what does it say? I love my pencils. Now, the word my still is implying that the possessor is how many people? One. But why is the word my plural? Because it is an adjective and it's modifying something plural. Because an adjective modifying noun must have the same. Now we're going to move on to the second word. The second possessive adjective of the second person is this right here. Let's all say it together, please, buddy. Tuus, tuum. And so therefore, I've got fancier pencils than that, Felix. And so what is Felix now going to say? Translate my sentence now. I love your pencils. Do you see how now it is referring to your as in another person? So we move on from the first person to the second person and now to the third person, which of course is going to be the following. Let's all say it together, everybody. Suus, suam, suum. I'm going to come back to that in just a moment because I'm going to have to explain it far in depth. But nevertheless, we move on. Now, you are not the singular possessor of those pencils. That pencil belongs to you and to whom else? Your family. Right, am I not correct in that?
Yeah.
There it is. I mean, did you work a job to buy them yourself? No, your family helped chip in, did they not? Fantastico. And so if we're going to include more than just me, my, we would have to, of course, go to the first person plural, which is the following. Let's all say it together, please, one. Noster, nostra, nostrum. And so let's say that the whole family only has one pencil. And if the family only has one pencil, what can she say but, let's all say it in Latin, please, everybody. Nostrum stilum. What does she say? She says, I love our pencil. They have one pencil, that dear pencil for which you used to use all the homework. But we can also make it plural. And what you hear would be just nostro stilo. So what does it say now, boys and girls? I love our pencils. Do you see how that works? But we can make it second person plural as well. Ah, there it is. There we are. Let's all say, please, buddy. Western. Westrum. Westrum. And thus, indeed, instead of Westros stilos, she is remarking upon my family's pencils. And what does Felix say about my family's pencils? She says, I love y'all's pencil. Now, boys and girls, is that correct English to say y'all's is? No, so why do I use the word that is incorrect English? Y'all's is. No, we want to distinguish it from the singular. This would be my, this would be your, this would be our, and this would be your as well. But when I say I love your pencils, you don't know whether I love your, you singular one-person pencils, or I love your whole family's pencils. Do you see how that works? And so instead of saying your, I want you to say the incorrect English. Y'all's is. It needs two. What are those things called? It needs two apostrophes. Now, we move on to the third person plural, and again, it is that same. Let's all say it together, buddy. Suus, sua, suum. The same as what you have up here. Now, suus, sua, suum can mean his whatever, her whatever, or its whatever. And down here, it's going to mean their whatever. However, this is where the whole crux of the matter lies. So pay close attention, you two at home watching this hopefully, in the following way. I'm about to write on the board two sentences. in Latin and into English, they are going to translate identically. But in Latin, you are going to note and know a difference between the both of them. Now, let's all say these words that are here. Everybody, Adjs.
Adjs.
Instead of saying of him, you could say his. Instead of saying of her, you can say hers. And instead of saying of it, you can say its. But this is the thing to remember. Everybody repeat after me. If it is written in blue,
If it is written in blue,
it refers to someone else.
it refers to someone else.
Now I'm going to set up a situation where will you check to see that you're able to see on the camera where I'm writing right here. Is it going to show up in this area?
Yes.
All righty. Now, let's take two people in here. Clarus, do we all know him? It could be either one, but I guess we'll use this one. And Sardox, do we all know him?
Yes.
Okay.
This guy.
They live next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
They are neighbors. Does everybody understand the setup that we have here?
Yeah.
One of them has a dog. Is everybody good?
Yeah.
Great. Clarus Colin Sum known amat. Now, both of those sentences translates in the exact same way. Do you know what both of those sentences say in English? It says, Clarus does not like his dog. Now, what is the problem with that sentence in English, boys and girls?
You don't know if it's his dog or his dog.
You don't know whether it's his dog or his dog. Now, what do I mean when I say you don't know whether it is his dog or his dog?
Oh, mine dog.
Yes. Now, in Latin, you will. Because, boys and girls, when it comes to these possessive adjectives, you can translate it not as just my, but you translate it as my own. You can translate it not just as yours, but your own. His own, her own, its own, our own, y'all's own, or their own. Whereas, again, boys and girls, if it is written in blue, it is referring to... Thank you, wherever that little voice was from. Thank you, someone else. If it's written in blue, let's all say please, everybody, Adjs. It's referring to whom?
Someone else.
Now, let's all point at Clarus. Now, point at Clarus. Translate the top one and point in the correct space. Clarus does not like his dog. Did my pointer finger go anywhere?
No.
Translate the bottom one. Clarus does not like his dog. Does everybody understand? That's great. If it is written in blue, it is referring to
Someone else.
But if it is suus, sua, suum, it is going to be his,
Oh.
her,
Oh.
its dog. Now, lastly, do not think that the gender of the adjective suusaum has anything to do whether it's his own dog, her own dog, its own dog. Because remember, we saw before in the chapter, Marcus in lecto suo yake bot. Boys and girls, what was that saying? Marcus was lying in his bed. Now, was he lying in his own bed or was he lying in Sextus's bed?
His own.
Make it where he was lying in Sextus's bed.
Oh.
Marcus was lying in his bed, but now I've used, and let's do say it again, please, everybody, Adjs. If it's written in blue, it refers to someone else. And now it says he was lying, Marcus was, in his bed. But was it Marcus's bed?
No.
No, someone else's. Now also the last example. Magister, now, not my current one, but the previous one. Phalem suam a mot. Boys and girls, what does it say? The teacher loves his cat, her cat, its cat, which one?
His cat.
It's his cat. But wait, why is Sue on feminine?
The cat's name?
Because my cat's name was Maggie.
Maggie.
Maggie the cat from Cat on the Hot Tin Roof by Tennessee Williams. But you see, it's feminine because of what it's modifying. But why do we translate it as his own cat?
Because it's modern.
Because it's referring to whom?
The
The teacher is exactly right. And so, if it was the teacher's whole family, omnes, they all love, and we mean they, as in the wife and the children, they all love, and they all love not his cat, not her cat, not its cat, but they all love their cat. Do you see how that works? If it were our cat, that's okay. Our cat would be like this. But here would be they, the other people, love our cat, as it were. But just know that what determines the case number and gender of these is, of course, the word that it modifies. Your last word for the free easy 100 is Eus. E-I-U-S. Eus. And you can hit the record button and be done. You can write down whatever you want to.